Hello everyone, Tony Owens, Vice President for Bargaining, SEIU Local 1000. We had Board of Directors last weekend, Saturday. Some of you guys hopefully got a chance to get in. I had posted the registration stuff on Facebook, hoping that you guys would get a chance to actually see like what's going on, see your representatives in action, how that whole process works. I know everybody didn't get a chance to actually get in there. I did hear from people who were trying to get in, and apparently there were some technical glitches or whatever. People were not able to get in to actually watch. I know some people did get in, but there was more than a couple that reported that they were having issues. So for anybody who did spend some time trying to get in, you wanted to see how this thing actually goes down, and we're unable to do that, I apologize. This was the very first one that we did via Zoom, the first Board of Directors meeting that was held via Zoom, that was open for the public. Generally, there's two sessions, the general session, which is open to the public, and then they have an executive session, which is the closed portion. So that's normally how it would work in real life. But with the Zoom feature, we actually had a period of time where we were in executive session, but the rest of the time was general session. Everyone could be in, motions were presented, the whole routine. So again, sorry for the difficulties that took place, but we'll make sure that for the next board meeting that we'll have the registration information out there for those that want to get in and see what's going on. So with that being said, I'm committed to doing these videos. You guys, the feedback has been tremendous. I totally appreciate it. I'm really committed to putting these videos together so that you can understand what your union's doing for you, how it works, how things are going down, all of that. So thank you guys for that. With that being said, let's get into the agenda items that were presented at the Board of Directors meeting on Saturday, July the 11th. Okay, so the first agenda item that I want to mention here is agenda item 6B. 6B is the workplace bullying language that we tried to insert. So the title of this item was Organizational Violence and Bullying Prevention Language. That was the title of it. And the short version of it was we wanted to take the bullying language that we actually negotiated with the state. We wanted to take that language and we wanted to mirror that, duplicate that, and bring that into the union. Real simple. Bullying, whether it's by a manager or whether it's even inside your own union, it's not to be tolerated. Who's for bullying, right? So it seemed like a no-brainer. At the end of the day, we wanted to incorporate this language into our rules. And unfortunately, I have to say, it was voted down by 85%. I mean, it was overwhelming. And a couple people spoke out, and I'll tell you what the rationale was. By the people who spoke out against it during the board meeting, the rationale was that it's not necessary. There's no bullying in our union, so it's not necessary. Yeah, a little disappointing. But having said that, again, I want you guys to understand kind of the culture that exists today and how it works. And again, when you're putting out some language like that, where you're saying, this is who we are, this is who we want to be, this is the standard for conduct that we want to set, and then you have 85% of the board says, it's not needed. Okay, so the next one is agenda item 6C. And the whole point of 6C, this is the union leave authorization. And this is the piece where basically the motion is designed to take the authority for assigning or approving union leave from the president to the executive committee. The executive committee, which is the president and the 3 vice presidents. So you're talking about the 4 statewide officers make up the executive committee, and it would be a majority decision as opposed to just one person who has the authority to say who gets to be off of work and be on union leave. So that was the whole intent behind this one. And again, I would say by a percentage of about 85%, this motion failed. So it did not pass. Okay, so then the next one, and this is quite similar to 6C. 6D is also concerning union leave. This motion basically serves to provide for a notification automatically. Any person that's going to be on union leave, the DLC president that they're under, that's to say their DLC president, which again, that breakdown, the DLC president is over a geographical area. So that would be a job steward in a certain location. If they're going to be assigned to union leave, then the DLC president is going to be notified. So we want to have that language in our bylaws, in our policy file, to say no one's going to be off on union leave without the knowledge of their DLC president. That seems like a no-brainer. It didn't pass. Again, margins pretty close. 85% of the board said, no, that's okay. No, DLC presidents don't need to know when someone in their DLC is going to be off of work on union leave, which apparently happens today, which is why this motion was basically submitted by 4 DLC presidents. I think it's DLC 790, 784, 793, 746, and 788. So all these DLC presidents are saying, we'd like to know when our people are going to be off of work. But yeah, so again, just another example of the voting, the board actually shot that particular motion down. Okay, so the next one is item 6E, and this one pertains to COPE, which is the Committee on Political Education. And this money is the money that's earmarked for campaigns, ballot measures, all of that. And so essentially what the idea was behind this motion was simply to say we wanted to have a report on COPE funds at every single board meeting. That's what this motion was about, to have that information be presented at every single board meeting. Board members should know where the political money, those funds, where they're going, how it's being spent. And so that was the point of it. And again, this motion was shot down, and that was about 85% of the board voted no. Okay, so now we're going to go to agenda item 6G. This one was super simple. This was new officer training. So the whole point of this motion was for new officers, newly elected officers, to receive training. And it put a time frame on it to say that any newly elected officer would basically be trained within 60 days. Very simple, no-brainer. Speaking from this experience, the 3 VPs and what we've experienced, this would have been awesome. This would have been fantastic to have this kind of training that we're talking about here within a timely manner. So again, it felt like this probably should have been a no-brainer, but I have to tell you, it was voted down. It failed. Again, percentage-wise, about 85% of the board said, no, that's not necessary. Hopefully you're seeing the pattern here. About 85% of the board voted no. Not necessary. Okay, so I feel like at this point you're probably sitting back there saying, you know what? Did anything pass? Yes. It was not all gloom and doom. There was actually one motion that did pass, and I'm very happy about that. And that was 6I. 6I was the Native American Committee. And so that's the formation and of a new committee. We have a bunch of human rights committees, but we had never had a Native American committee before. And so 6I, which did pass by an overwhelming majority, we in fact have a new human rights committee for Native Americans, and I'm happy about that. And again, that was kind of the bright spot in a very tough day. So thank you guys for tuning in. Before I sign off, I would like to mention something. We lost a civil rights icon and legend in Representative John Lewis. John Lewis was one of the forefathers of the civil rights movement. He was a person that dedicated his life to advocating on behalf of others. His influence will be felt for years to come, the work that he did. And I would just like to dedicate this video to John Lewis and say thank you, and I'll see you guys soon.